Hello and welcome to all our viewers from around the world. I'm Kristen Schwartz, licensed midwife and MC here at GOLD. And here at GOLD, we're getting ready for our Lactation Online Conference of 2022. It's just around the corner. And with me here today is one of our speakers, Rebecca Costello. Welcome, Rebecca.
Hi, nice to be here.
It's wonderful to have you here. And of course, we will talk about your presentation, which is titled Leveling Up Your Note-Taking. I'm very excited about this. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But before that, I want you to introduce yourself to our viewers. For example, where in the world are you located, first of all, before we get started here?
So I'm in the United States. I'm in upstate New York in Ithaca, which some people know as the home of Cornell University.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I looked a little bit around and found a little bit of information about you. Started your journey as a doula and as a midwife. I have to tell you, I'm very excited to read that about you, learn that about you, because I absolutely adore doulas. I love them, love what they do for the community, for the families. So, and then of course, you're a lactation professional. So tell us a little bit about your professional journey.
Yeah, well, I can tell you doulas feel the same about midwives. So so I started as a doula in 2004 and a childbirth educator. I actually started working in a like a public health clinic as part of a national service program, and we were trained as kind of breastfeeding educators, kind of like a peer counselor type of level of training, and I just fell in love with it. And I shadowed a lactation consultant for half a day, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do. I mean, it just caught me almost immediately. And at the time, I really could not figure out, though, how to make it happen. And so I worked in a bunch of different fields and did a bunch of different things. And finally, I found my way to a master's program in public health and maternal and child health. But at the same time I was there, was starting a training program for IBCLCs. And so it was just the universe just opened that door for
Yeah.
me. It was amazing. So after I finished that program and finished with my master's of public health, I began working as an IBCLC at a large academic hospital, actually mostly on nights, which was really interesting. And then I eventually moved over to become the director of lactation services for a freestanding birth center. So when I say I love midwives, I love midwives. And so
Yeah.
I was there for about 5 years as the director of lactation services. And then we moved to a new state where we are now, and I moved into private practice. So when I say like, oh, like the different types of charting that I talk about in the
Yeah.
presentation, I have seen them from all possible angles.
That's interesting. It's fascinating because that's what I just wanted to ask you about the charting too. But first of all, you've seen it all. You've seen the the big hospital organization. It's good that they have IBCLCs there. Not every hospital has full-time IBCLCs on staff, which is something. So that's good that you experienced that, and also then the jump to the birth center. So tell us a little bit about how different that was for you, the work from that angle.
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, at the hospital, I actually was there when the hospital made its transition from a bunch of different charting systems that we were actually using to one charting system, which a lot of people know, which is Epic. So I was there for that transition. And then I moved to the birth center where we were still charting on paper. Everybody had a paper file. We were always searching for their folders, and I got to learn kind of the joys and the challenges of paper charts. And then the birth center said, it's time for us to, move on to the next phase. It's time for us to have an EHR. So I was there through the whole process of the EHR, designing our lactation note, getting that all set up. So that was really interesting, even just having been at two different institutions through two different transitions in terms of charting. So not only did I get to see one thing at each place, I actually got to see multiple kind of ways of doing things at each place.
That's fascinating. And yeah, it's a big transition to go from paper to electronics. We don't know that, and it depends also in which state you practice. I know for midwives here in Florida, I mean, we switched over a few years ago now to everything has to be electronic, and I
Yeah.
think it's in many other states as well.
Yeah.
And around the world, of course, we have an international audience. So many of our viewers are probably know the challenges to go from paper to the electronic charting system. And I still hear from people who say, oh, what about the old paper paper chart. That was so convenient. That was so much better. I liked it so much better to have something in my hand and be
Yeah.
able to write, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we have to go with the times and and we have to adjust. And here's something interesting. You know, you come from this institution background of the hospital and then the birth center. You know, there's many IBCLCs or lactation professionals starting maybe out in private practice as well. They don't have that charting background, and they might struggle a little bit with the note taking, right? I mean, it's sometimes, and I don't know exactly how it is treated in the education of becoming an IBCLC, almost like a side product. Yeah, the main thing is, of course, care for the family and care for the diet,
Yeah.
but then the charting is something. Okay, we take some notes here, but it is so important, right? It is so
Yeah.
important to take good notes and not be afraid of it and not see it as, oh gosh, it's something else I have to take care of. I don't like it. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we know that IBCLCs, can and do come from all different backgrounds, which is
Yeah.
fabulous for our
Yes.
profession, right? I mean, we get
Yes.
people who have backgrounds like me in public health. We get people who have backgrounds in education, in marketing, in nursing, in medicine, in midwifery, right? And all of those are fabulous backgrounds, but not all of them bring with them that background of knowing and learning how to chart. And even if you're coming from another medical field,
Hmm.
lactation charting might be something that's new
Different.
to you.
Yeah.
And what I have some virtual students, some virtual IBCLC mentees. And so one of the main ways we review their cases is via their charting. And I'm always talking to them, and they're mostly not coming from these kind of healthcare backgrounds. I'm always talking to them about the importance of thorough charting. I say, I can't really evaluate what you've done unless we do a good chart. And somebody else who looks at your notes, right? And I
Hmm.
talk about in the presentation, right? Say there's a complaint against you by a patient
Yeah.
and somebody from the outside goes to look at that chart, you want it to say, accurately and thoroughly what you've done, how, what you said to the family, what you advised them, what you evaluated. If it's just this a very minimal kind of thing with a couple notes here and there, that may not represent you as well as it could.
Hmm.
So I'm always
Yeah.
talking to them. This is representing you. It's not just something that
Right.
you communicate with yourself and with me, but it's something that could communicate with anybody else, and you can't predict who.
Right, and exactly, and sometimes we do collaborative care with other care providers, or
Mhm.
if you work with maybe a pediatrician, you want to be able to provide good charts, good, solid, so you A, look
Yes.
professional, and B, it's the
Yes.
service to the family too, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
their kind of journey, so you want to make sure you document it accurately and make sure everything is in there so you can um, have that as part of their plan, of their care plan too, so to
Yeah.
document that, their care plan.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
and you mentioned you are a mentor, right? You have
Mhm.
mentees and you offer that online. How can
Mhm.
people find you if they're interested in going a little bit deeper, because the presentation you have here with us is just an hour, so you can't possibly pack everything in it, but if they wanted to talk to you a little bit more in depth, or maybe look into your program.
Yes, they can find my website. It's intheflowlactation.com. It
Hmm.
does say on there that I am on maternity leave because I partially am, but I am open to communicating with people, and I do work some part-time remotely,
Hmm.
especially with people who just want to talk or have a quick consult. So I'm always happy if someone just wants to reach out and talk with me. I'm on my email. They're free to reach out.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And congratulations on your blessing. It's wonderful to hear
Thank
that you're
you.
on maternity leave. That's beautiful. Um, Before I let you go, what kind of little nugget of wisdom can you leave with us? Or what did you see when you see charts? But that one quick thing that you say, if you do that, that's already a big improvement, just some little changes you're making.
Well, one thing I said to a student recently is I said, when we are talking to a patient, it's so easy, right? Just to jump to the first thing we hear, the first thing we think. I said to her, if you can follow your chart, if you can note that your chart has the assessment and the plan at the end of the chart, and you can follow the chart through and do your visit the way the chart flows, as opposed to trying to start assessing and planning at the very beginning, you will run a better consult because you
Mm.
will gather all the information you need first. You will really hear the family. You will investigate things you won't make assumptions or jump to conclusions too quickly. So it's really to use the structure of your chart to guide you through a consult.
Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you so much, Rebecca, for sitting down here with me and chatting about the work you're doing. And of course, the presentation, which is titled Leveling Up Your Note Taking. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
And for our viewers, if you'd like to find out more about this presentation and the other wonderful presentations in our lactation conference that is just around the corner, the conference gets started on April 4th with our opening keynote presentation. So if you want to find out more about all of the amazing presentations and what we have lined up, we have interactive sessions, networking sessions, and of course, Rebecca Costello with her presentation there. Please visit goldlactation.com for more information, and I hope to see you all at the conference. Bye-bye, everyone.